Love and Death, episode 5, titled The Arrest, and this show so far is absolutely good. It's not the greatest thing that HBO has gave us, but for this type of story and for the performance alone by Elizabeth Olsen, which this episode just gives her like more Emmy nominees and more Golden Globes nominees, even though who gives a shit about Golden Globe, but it's just her performance in this episode is just fantastic because what she's doing is very stoic and it's very like keeping things controlled, even though what she's telling people is the opposite reaction what the outcome that she actually wants. Like in this episode, she just admits to a lawyer, yeah, I killed Betty. But yeah, so I chopped her in little pieces. Yeah. But she came at me. Yeah. And how she plays it is just good. It looks how she is it's great. I'm like, she's going with the Emmys. And when we go to the psychiatrist, the hypnotherapist, and she's just like going through like 10, 15 emotions in one scene where she's like as her lawyer says, she's sounding like a wounded animal, and then is screaming and is repeating what her mom said, where she had clearly as a child was in hospital and had a crack, cracked her head open, which understandably so, a child or anyone would be crying if their head got cracked open, and the mother's like, shh, 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 stop crying, shh, shh, shh. Like, don't show any, like, sadness if it isn't happy, or like if anything that isn't a positive, if it's not happy or anger, any sort of sadness is a sign of weakness, which of course we know today is not true. It's just, I was like, God damn it. Yeah. Just, Liz Wilson as Kenny McGarvey, just give her all the awards. Now, the actual episode itself, I also liked. I like how the aggression, episode 1's about this, episode 2's about this, episode 3's about this, episode 4's about this, and now episode 5's about this. It has a nice sense of pace. Like, even episode 3, which feels very, like, the affair's over. Is it though? I don't want the affair over. Like, even episode 3, which I found the weakest episode, you could sense like they have placed these episodes and what that episode is about. Like, when you have episode 1 is about the origins of the affair, episode 2 is about the affair itself, then the ending of the affair, and then the murder, and now it's about the arrest, and now my guess next episode is about the trial. And now this episode, and episode 7, my guess, is about the aftermath, and probably my guess a more of an epilogue surrounding the entire story, if I had to guess. It feels it has a nice level of pace towards it, and I like also that when it comes to the characters, that the characters are kind of focusing, like the show's kind of focusing on, what is it like if you know a person who might be evicted of a very serious crime, which is murder, and it's not just murder; it's the how the murdering happened, and it's not swinging, or someone's strangled. Even though strangling is bad, but it's not someone getting chucked downstairs. It's not this. It's not that. Someone's getting shot. Someone's getting stabbed. It's none of that. It's someone got an axe and butchered someone, and it's someone that you know, and it's someone that you used to go to church with, and is and is just it. I like how they focus on what does that feel like? What does it feel like to be the lawyer of that person? What does it feel like to be married to that person? What does it feel like, or the community itself? Like you have Candy's friend, who Kristen Wiig's character, and she's basically saying like, oh, don't worry, like we all know you, you didn't do any of this, even though we know Candy did, but we all know the real you. You're not this violent criminal, this starlet. I was like, they're calling her a starlet, huh? A starlet wench, huh? What about the starlet witch? Oh, let's think about whoever's in there. Anyway, but I feel bad for Pat. Like in this episode, I feel bad for Pat. I feel bad that Pat just wants to be the loving husband, but because of lawyer-client continuity, he's unable to do so. Candy's is not allowed to give a lick of information towards him. He's getting frustrated. He even stabbed to one of her lawyers and says, "I'm her goddamn husband. I should know about this." And you just you feel that frustration. It's just, I like when Alan is not in this episode a lot. He shows up he literally has 3 scenes out of this entire episode. I'll say 4, but it's kind of like they are back to back. I like how the family's reaction to he admits hey, this is going in the papers, this is going to be on TV. I better, and the police are going to be telling about it, so you better hear from me than someone else or another source. And and the family's reaction, I mean, naturally, anytime you say, hey, you slept with another person behind your wife's back, and now in general, people are going to have this level of disgust. People are going to have this level of hatred, not hatred, but a sense of heavily of disappointment that you would do something on those lines. And I like it when it comes to, let's be honest, when it comes to someone getting arrested, them seeing how they react, how the person getting arrested react to certain things is kind of the least interesting part. By the way, may I put a side note on this? And it kind of shows in episode 1, at the end of episode 1, and a little bit out through the show, is how they deal with nudity. And how I'm me as a aspiring filmmaker, and if I'm directing TV and I get no control of what happens in the script, and I read the script and it says the person is naked, I love how they handle it. It's the, if you see, you see it, Richie. And I'm when it came to the affair, when it came to the sex scenes, it was a little bit of, if you see something, you see something. And I'm that's kind of a good way to do it. And there's a wide shot because Candy is in prison and she has to go through the entire drop. They have to do the cavity search, and then she had to go for a shower. And there's a scene where there's a wide shot, a completely wide shot of her taking a shower, but it's more like a silhouette. It's more in a shadow side of things, and it's not look, and it's a type of scene that isn't 100% is not a look, Elizabeth Wills is naked. It's none of that. It's not glorifying whatsoever. What it is showing the loneliness and showing how it's the whole, you've been caught, but literally stripped off naked, and they do it as that saying goes, and do it on the end stream of it. And I really do like how the show handles nudity. I really do. I'm going to use this show as a reference if I ever direct something that has nudity in it. And I'll be like, just do this, do this, and all that. But yeah, I do like the Candy's lawyer versus the judge. He's like, I'm going to disapprove this fat fuck. He keeps calling the judge a fat fuck. You're just like, the A's, when you could fat shame a judge. Yeah. But yeah, this is I'm enjoying it. It does, but as I say, it's more interesting about the community of DOS than the actual events themselves. But it's, yeah, I'm digging this. It does feel like each episode is kind of getting better by it, and I'm all up for it. So we only got 2 episodes left, and I'll see you when they come out, or like a couple of days when they come out and all that. But yeah, I will talk about them.